Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Gary Christenson, and I am the mayor of Malden. And first, let me say to the students who contacted me via Instagram this morning that there will be no early release from school today on account of the snow. Now, I realize that it may result in my recall from office, but believe me, you'll thank us in June. Now, the Malden folks here know yesterday at the historic Emmanuel Baptist Church, we celebrated someone who I have always admired and looked up to during my life, Martin Luther King Jr. One of the themes that was repeated over and over throughout the event was the need to do more when it comes to education, especially early education. But as always, the question was, who would do it? This morning, I believe we have our answer. Having just visited classrooms and seeing the learning that is taking place for our preschooler age students demonstrates just how important the Commonwealth Preschool Partnership Initiative really is. The grant we received has had a tremendous impact here in Malden and has allowed our teachers and the community-based teachers to share and collaborate in best practices, resources, curriculum, and professional development. Our young students were able to receive speech and language services, behavioral services, occupational therapy, as well as physical therapy in their preschools. Early education is critical and sets the foundation for future success. Please join me in welcoming the people who are doing it. Governor Maura Healey.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Mayor Christenson, for your partnership and terrific leadership. Great to be with you and so many members of the Malden community here this morning, and really excited to share some great news about childcare and early education in Massachusetts. We couldn't be in a better place than this to make this announcement. Congresswoman Clark, thank you so much for taking time from really important duties in Washington, D.C. to be here with us this morning. It speaks to what we know is your tremendous commitment to all families in Massachusetts and across this country, and particularly on the issue that we're talking about this morning, which is child care. So thank you so much, Congresswoman Clark. We also have with us our legislative partners, Senator Jason Lewis, Representative Kate Lippert-Garabedian. Thank you both for being here and for your work. YMCA leaders and staff, thank you for hosting us today, especially Debbie Amaral, President and CEO of the Mystic Valley YMCA, and Woo-Young Shower, Director of Early Learning at the Malden YMCA. Really appreciate the tour, in particular, Woo-Young, that you just gave us of wonderful, wonderful classrooms and little people. I also want to recognize Lisa Murray, President of Citizens Bank, because businesses are critical partners in this work. I also want to thank Rosemary Hernandez and Carrie Bryant for the work they do in the community and for being here to share their stories. What we saw today in these classrooms is what we want for every child in Massachusetts. And as testament to that, we're here really in a show of force with our administration. It's all about teamwork for the LG and myself. And we've got a great team. We've got a great team focused on this issue in particular. That starts, of course, with our Secretary of Education, Dr. Pat Tutwiler, our Commissioner of Early Education and Child Care, that is Amy Kershaw. Amy's got, understandably, a lot of fans here this morning. Our Secretary of Labor and Workforce Development, Lauren Jones, and our Secretary of Economic Development, Yvonne. We've obviously got some more announcements to make and some things to speak to tomorrow, but we wanted to be here today on this issue because it is that important. And it's that important across all realms of what we do, whether it's in education, whether it's in labor and workforce, thinking about the pipeline and creating careers for now and for tomorrow, or whether it's about economic development and the future of this state and also the now of this state. I mentioned some of the business leaders. I'm also grateful that J.D. Chesloff is here and Brooke Thompson from both the Business Roundtable and AIM, because we know that childcare is such a linchpin to the health and well-being, not only of families and the success of these little guys, which is so imperative, and that is first, but it's absolutely essential to everything we do as a state, who we are and where we're going to go. And that's why we're here together. And I think what is really an unprecedented announcement by an administration, this many folks, this committed to this particular issue, because we know how important it is, how integral it is to the success and well-being of families, of residents, and of this state. Making childcare more affordable, strengthening early education is a major priority in our agenda, and that is why we are all here. We recognize that the cost of childcare is high, is out of reach for so many. We know that too many providers are hanging on or barely hanging on. Too many educators struggle, and we were blessed to meet with so many wonderful educators here this morning. We thank you for what you do. We know that there are predominantly women, especially immigrants and women of color, impacted by this. It's an equity issue for sure. We know that too many parents generally have had to make a hard choice to not work, to not leave the home and work, simply because they cannot afford childcare. That's no good for them, it's no good for their families, it's no good for this state and where we need to go. So for so many reasons, we wanted to take action, and that's what today is about. Childcare, as I said, is a linchpin, it's foundational, it's central to our agenda, both for families, for education, for workforce, for business development. It is that important, and we understand it, and that's why we went big. Last year, we delivered nearly $500 million in C3 grants just to stabilize the sector. That did make it easier. It made it easier for more people to get access. Last week, the Board of Early Ed approved new rates for providers who serve those families. That will make sure providers are paid fairly statewide. Now, this year's budget will keep those investments in place, including the critical C3 grants. That's a big deal. We're also going to go further. Today, we are announcing our Gateway to Pre-K agenda. That's what it's about, Gateway to Pre-K. It's about these guys. Let me tell you what it does. First, it's all about supporting families. Our budget's going to expand eligibility. So now we're going to move for making eligibility for child care financial assistance from 50% of state median income up to 85%, okay? That's going to allow us. In this program, costs are capped on what you can afford. We expect to reach 4,000 new low and moderate income families alone with just this support. Next, we'll set a new early goal for education in Massachusetts. We want every single 4-year-old in our state to have access to affordable, high-quality preschool. So this year, our budget will expand the scale and reach of the state's preschool partnership initiative. That means investing in both public schools and trusted community providers. And the goal is to get to universal pre-K for every 4-year-old in the state. That is the goal of our state. What we're going to work to do is that by the end of 2026, every 4-year-old in every gateway city in this state will have access to universal pre-K. That's not too far away. So we've got work to do, but that's how committed we are to this. Finally, we're going to start building system-wide solutions. Together, I know we can expand access and lower costs. This is a big challenge for our state. It's a challenge for states around the country. But here in Massachusetts, where we have always prized education, where we have always valued our littlest learners, where we have found ways to reach beyond and deliver for families and provide opportunities, where we have a powerful and enlivened and engaged partnership with the business community who understands and knows full well, they live it every day, the imperative that this is. We're going to get this done. Now I'd like to turn it over to Congresswoman Clark for her thoughts this morning. Thank you again so much, Congresswoman Clark, for being here.
Thank you. What an absolute privilege to be here. And I want to thank again Mayor Christenson for being such a gracious host here in Malden. And we've acknowledged many in the room, but I also want to acknowledge that we have many Malden city councilors and school committee members here. And thank you for joining us for this critical announcement. So, to the governor, Lieutenant Governor, and Dr. Secretary, and really the entire administration that is represented here. This is a momentous day, and it is a vision that is centered around everyone in the front row and building a future here in the Commonwealth that is worthy of them. And we are so grateful for you taking this major step forward in our fight to make sure that every family can provide for their kids with a quality early education. And we're fighting for a Commonwealth and a country where education is honored, prioritized, and funded like the economic infrastructure that it is. And for years, childcare and early education has been viewed as an accessory, a private decision between families and a provider, a nice to have, but not a basic necessity. And it took a global pandemic to show everyone what so many in this room already knew, that childcare makes all other work possible, and that it empowers not only kids to learn, but parents to thrive and our business community to grow, that it is central to the success of our entire economy. And we are so grateful to have a governor who recognizes these basic truths. During COVID, Democrats delivered a rescue plan that kept millions of kids in their classrooms, including more than 200,000 children here in Massachusetts. It got parents back to work and kept businesses afloat. We proved what is possible when you invest in early education. The pandemic changed the way our country thinks about early education and care, and with leaders like Governor Healey, we are refusing to go back to the status quo. The Healey-Driscoll administration's plan means more children in classrooms, more help for working families, more opportunity and prosperity for Massachusetts. And I promise you that we are not going to let up in Washington, and we will enact further investments to go even farther. I am so proud to call all of you partners in this fight for affordable, accessible, quality childcare. Congratulations on this major win for our kids, families, and caregivers. And it is now my privilege to introduce a champion for childcare, our Lieutenant Governor Driscoll. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Your federal rescue plan certainly showed us the way forward, both at the local level and at the state level. And so pleased to be here. Like, look around. Bye, kids. Are you going now? Yeah. The carriage is turning into a pumpkin. We got to go. Yeah. You guys were very good. Thank you so much for being here. You know, I just want to take a moment to look around the room and really thank everybody for turning out for this. If you think about this particular space, we've got early care providers here, we have community members here, we have individuals from the business community who really understand the importance of what not only this announcement means, but what it means for communities across the entire Commonwealth, what it means for families across the entire Commonwealth. And I certainly come at this from a number of angles as a mom, a working mom. At one point we had 3 kids under the age of 5, was making that second mortgage payment for childcare that so many people struggle with. And it was definitely a hard time, and you're juggling a lot. And the opportunity to have a system that's going to enable us to have more providers, access more individuals and more families, and frankly, to allow families to have choice. Oftentimes, you don't feel like you have a choice if you can't find childcare or if what you can find is just unaffordable. As a former mayor of a city, I know how important that was, a gateway city. Gary and I have that in common with providers and preschool teachers who struggle to find that stability. How do we have enough support to the folks who are making the investment and our youngest learners at a time that is so critical? I'm often fond of saying we've got 1,825 days from birth to age 5. We got to get it right. The research shows the investments, the opportunity for high quality early education and learning makes a major difference for the rest of an individual's life. That's why we're here today. We also have the benefit of this investment benefiting generations for 2 generations, right? Benefits for both our littlest learners and their parents. We have made this a priority because it is a priority. Every single child deserves the same high-quality learning experience that we saw just a few minutes ago in this building. This program is going to help facilities and workforce pipelines for education. We are not taking this as a piecemeal approach. We want to tackle this from all angles. That means thinking about families, how we can make a high-quality early ed more affordable, more accessible, thinking about how we can support the workforce, the educators who literally do cartwheels in these classrooms and help educate our youngest learners, the business community who we know wants to play a role, needs to play a role. How do we find that scaffolding and put those pieces together? We're going to listen to our care workers and to our early educators about their needs and step into that breach to make sure we can have choice, we can have opportunities, and most importantly, we can have high-quality early education across our Commonwealth. That means working with everyone, and that's the cross-section of people that you see in this room. Community leaders, early education providers, the business community, they know we're going to be able to bring great education to all 351 cities and towns if we work together. And our efforts here certainly cannot move forward without strong support from the legislator. We're building off of a lot of success legislators have already put into play, and so grateful that our state delegation is here so we can take this sort of whole of government approach to impacting families. That's really what today is about. We're going to make it easier, more affordable, more equitable for everyone to get a high-quality pre-K experience, and that is certainly something to celebrate. And that's why I'm so pleased to be able to introduce our next speaker, Secretary Pat Tutwiler. We were at an event last week where he referred to himself as not Shaq, and we know that. We're so pleased to have Pat here because he brings a degree of experience along the entire spectrum, from early ed to higher ed. With that, Secretary Pat Tutwiler, not Shaq.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Dr. Secretary Patrick Tutwiler, not Shaq. It is really wonderful to actually be back. We were here a few weeks ago to celebrate the incredible partnership between the Y and the Malden Public Schools, along with Mayor Christenson and others. A really, really wonderful partnership that we see the impact of, the benefit of. We had a wonderful tour this morning before this event, and I should say that those students who were seated here were actually told that they were going to get gym time. I'm not sure that that's what they were thinking about, sitting here, so hopefully they will give those youngsters some time to run around and have fun. But it is a treat to be back here on this momentous day with this momentous announcement. We just celebrated the 1-year milestone of the Healey Driscoll administration, and I vividly recall within the first week of this administration, Governor Healey and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll making clear to me that addressing the challenges facing our child care system was a top priority. Seems clear to me now, as it did then, that their bold early education agenda goes further than simply providing a solution. It spells out a plan for fundamental transformation. The Executive Office of Education, the office that I lead, embraces the core values of advancing equity and inclusion, maintaining a holistic perspective, embracing collaboration, and championing innovation. Each of these core values are notably reflected in this new agenda for early education and care. By expanding access to child care financial assistance, increasing access to preschool beginning in our gateway communities, continuing yet another year of funding the Commonwealth Cares for Children grants, and approaching early education with the whole of state government, we are making systemic changes for the next generations of Massachusetts residents. I really want to emphasize the importance of every student having the opportunity to access high-quality care and learning experiences, no matter their circumstances. The child care and preschool initiatives announced today will act as a down payment to the future success of our children, building a foundation for social, emotional, and academic success, not just as they transition to kindergarten, but really and truly for their lives. This is an investment in the success of our students, and I know no better investment for our Commonwealth, because when our students succeed, we all succeed. With that, I believe I was supposed to introduce the Congresswoman, but I'm turning it now to the director of the YMCA, I believe? That's you. Oh, yes. Welcome, and thank you again for hosting us. This is an incredible, incredible place, and we have your back 100%.
Well, if I was a writer, I would have said, Shaping Tiny Minds, Shaping Big Future would have been the title of my book. But I'm not going to read you my book, and before I start, I want to thank you, what I've heard from all that you've said, that you're going forward to do great things for preschool and for the little minds that are here at the Malden YMCA. And I stand here today not just as Director of Early Childhood Education, but as a champion of potential. There's so much potential in them, and I believe in them. A cultivator of curiosity and a fervent believer in the transformative power of early learning. It's not uncommon in all my years, 35 years of teaching in the education world. Oh, preschool, they have to know ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s. No, that's not about it all. Let me assure you, within those playful classrooms, something far more profound unfolds. We nurture the seeds of inquiry, empathy, resilience, planting the foundations of lifelong learning and engaged citizenship. It's all linked. And also in all my 35 years, I've seen firsthand the struggles faced by low-income families, the lack of resources, the uphill climb to secure quality care. These are the burdens that weigh heavily on parents and children alike. But Massachusetts, you've stepped in offering a lifeline. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then all the other points have been said, but I will say it again nevertheless. Here in our state of Massachusetts, I think we are leading the way with the help of the CPPI, I've shortened it, an invaluable tool. It is an invaluable tool that is a roadmap to a brighter future for every child that was here, every single one of them. It ensures that our educators, the teachers that were here, they have the tools. They are the heroes in the classroom. At least we provide the tools to them, the resources and the guidance that they need to tailor learning to each child's unique needs. Every child's different. Every need is different. So that actually helps them to tailor that need. Thank you again for that. Thank you also for recognizing that investing in these young minds isn't just a budgetary decision, It's a strategic investment in our collective future, a future brimming with compassionate leaders and audacious dreamers. We know with unwavering certainty that early childhood education is not a luxury. And as someone mentioned here, it is a necessity. It's the first step on the path to academic success, social-emotional well-being, and a future brimming with possibilities. Research studies have shown that investing in these early years yields great dividends that last a lifetime, impacting everything from earning potential to health outcomes. I'm not good at math, but that dividend sounds very good to me. The CPPI, I'll tell you a little bit about it. It fosters and how it has impacted us at the preschool here is it has fostered collaboration between the educators and families, giving parents a window into their child's development and empowering them to be active partners in their learning journey. It's about building trust, understanding, and a shared commitment to raising happy, healthy, and well-rounded children. Through tools like the developmental assessments, which we call the SQ, we are able to identify and nurture each child's individual strengths and challenges. This isn't about standardized tests and rigid benchmarks. It's about celebrating the wobbly first steps, the messy masterpieces. You'll see them in the classroom. For they are the building blocks of a future brimming with possibilities. So the impact of this collaborative, child-centered approach transcends the classroom walls. We've witnessed children blossoming into confident explorers, budding innovators, and empathetic leaders. And the results speak for themselves. Children enrolled in the CPPI-aligned programs now show significant improvements in language skills, social-emotional development, and readiness for kindergarten. And as I had mentioned earlier to Ms. Amy Kershaw, how a proud parent came to thank us because he was the only one reading in kindergarten, and he was our product. We see it in the spark of curiosity in their eyes, so it's not all about test scores. We see our success in the spark of curiosity in their eyes, the confidence in their voices, the joy of discovery that fills our classrooms. These are not isolated anecdotes. They are the fruits of an ongoing commitment to excellence fueled by your unwavering support. We couldn't have done it without y'all. So let us continue to nurture tiny minds hand in hand, family by family. Let us ensure that every child, regardless of background, color, race, or circumstance, has the opportunity to soar. Let us together shape generations of curious minds, passionate hearts, and reasonable and responsible citizens. Let us make Massachusetts a beacon of early childhood education, a state where every child's potential takes flight. Thank you to our dedicated educators. They're not here, they've gone back to the classrooms. But then I'll extend a thank you to y'all who poured their hearts and soul into nurturing young minds. Thank you all for providing the tools and guidance to make a real difference. And thank you all again for believing in the power of early childhood. Thank you. Yay. And I will present to you our next speaker, Lisa Rosemary Carey. Lisa. That's Lisa. I thought that was one
It's
name.
great. We got 3 more speakers. Importantly, thank you so much. Lisa Murray is going to speak to us from Citizens Bank, and then we're going to be followed by Rosemary and Carrie, who are going to talk about why this is so important in reality, right? So,
I actually kind of like my new name. No worries. Good morning to Governor Healey, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, Secretary Tutwiler, Commissioner Kershaw, Mayor Christenson, and the many, many advocates of early childhood education here today. My name is Lisa Murray, and I am the Massachusetts President of Citizens Bank, and I am also the Chair of the Massachusetts Business Roundtable, and I'm a member of the Business Coalition of Early Childhood Education. Each of these organizations understands that access to affordable, high-quality childcare is both an economic and a workforce development issue that is integral to a thriving state economy. We in the business community are so grateful to the Governor and her team for the extraordinary and bold proposals that were announced here today. It goes without saying that this is a very good day. Just a couple of weeks ago, I had the pleasure of joining Secretary Jones and David Shapiro of the YMCA to announce Citizens' commitment to the YMCA Early Childhood Apprenticeship Program. With support from citizens, the apprenticeship program will eliminate some of the common barriers associated with getting into this field. Not only is the apprentice program important to those seeking to become early childhood care providers, we know that accessible, affordable, high-quality childcare is an essential to a thriving economy, providing the necessary support parents, mostly women, need to actively participate in the workforce. The Healey-Driscoll administration was an essential partner in the effort by creating a pathway to the classroom for more early childhood educators and the ability to earn a livable wage. And this issue clearly matters to employees. In a survey of members of the Business Coalition, 97% indicated that their employees had raised childcare as a real issue. And particularly in this tight labor market, it also matters to employers. For many reasons, including costs, out-migration, and demographics, employers are having a difficult time filling open jobs. In fact, in a survey of Roundtable members, 75% anticipated some difficulty in filling jobs in the next year. And for an economy that has historically been based on access to high-quality, world-class talent, this is a direct threat to our long-term competitiveness. At the Roundtable, we've been proposing solutions to the talent challenge under the umbrella of tapping untapped talent. People who, for a variety of reasons, have been sidelined and are not participating in the workforce. Foreign educated immigrants and graduates of states' minority-serving institutions are two examples of credentialed and willing pools of talent that because of numerous barriers, are not fully participating in the economy. Accessible childcare is one of these solutions. Parents, predominantly women, want to work, and we as employers need workers. But the cost and availability of childcare is a disheartening obstacle. The proposals being made by the Governor today expand opportunities across the Commonwealth, making childcare available to more children and families, supports providers, and unlocks the potential of so many who now will have the chance to either enter or re-enter the workforce. I commend the Governor, Healey, and her team for the actions being announced today. These steps build upon the recent momentum of our public leaders in the administration and legislature to prioritize the issue of early childhood education. I'd now like to introduce one of the parents that are partaking in this, and that would be Rosemary.
Good morning. It is an honor to be here today. Thank you, Governor Healey and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll. My name is Rosemary. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I am the lead of the food pantry at the Elliott Family Resource Center. I am a mother of a 2-year-old girl that is now currently enrolled in a child care program in Chelsea. The stress of finding and managing a stable child care solution and the guilt of not being able to afford the best possible child care environment for my daughter was my biggest concern that I had to face. Being placed in a long waiting list definitely was overwhelming too. that is the reality that a lot of parents, just like myself, had to face when going back to work. But I consider myself lucky to have an amazing team like the Elliott Family Resource Center besides me. I was able to get involved with my community, go to different parenting classes, and get to know different parents in my same situation. That helped me to understand a little better the process and get the help that my family needed when I needed it the most. This is why I consider myself very proud to be part of the Malden YMCA and the Elliott Family Resource Center and be part of their team. Now I'm able to help my family financially and be able to give back to that community, and that has been my biggest accomplishment. As a first-time mom, it was very important to have access to affordable, reliable, and quality child care, not only for my family, but for every other family across Massachusetts too. This is why I stand here today, and I'm very excited about the Healey and Driscoll agenda for early education and child care. Families and working mothers across the state needs this kind of leadership and this commitment to act out of our elected officials. All women deserve the opportunity to work, and all children deserve an opportunity to get a head start on their reading and education. So that they are ready to succeed not in kindergarten and in life. Our children are our future, and it's nothing more important than support them. Thank you. And now I would like to welcome Carrie. Sorry.
Good morning. It's an honor to be here today. Thank you, Governor Healey and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll. My name's Carrie Bryant, and I'm a communications professional at Takeda. I'm also a working parent, a mom to 2 young kids, aged 2 and 4, who are enrolled in an early learning program at our local YMCA. I know firsthand how important it is for families across Massachusetts to have access to affordable, reliable, and quality childcare. I also know how hard it can be to find that adequate care. Before my husband and I even told our family we were expecting our first child, we frantically got ourselves on 7 child care wait lists. It was a full year before we even needed care. And that's because we had the privilege to be able to pay 7 application fees. It wasn't until shortly before I was supposed to return to work that we were offered a spot at one center, one of 7. Fortunately, our local YMCA has proven to be the best early learning option for our family. But the irony is, there was no option. We didn't have the luxury of choosing a center. We felt lucky simply to have a spot. But parenting and the early education of our children shouldn't rely on luck. Families deserve to make choices that meet their unique needs. Our children have thrived under the care of skilled early educators. I've seen them gaining independence, building social skills, and developing a love for learning. And because my children are well cared for, I'm able to bring my full self to my professional role, taking on new assignments, setting goals for the future, providing for my family today and our family's future. But that shouldn't be the case for only the lucky few, which is why I'm so pleased today to be here and to hear the Healey-Driscoll administration's announcement about all of the supports that will be put into place to continue to grow the child care infrastructure for families across Massachusetts. Families, parents, and the chronically under-supported early educators deserve the support, and the leadership that's being demonstrated today. Governor Healey and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll fundamentally understand that an investment in our youngest children with early education and quality education materials is an investment in our collective future for our families and for the Commonwealth. Thank you. I'd now like to welcome Governor Healey back to the podium.
Thanks very much, everybody, for coming. We appreciate it. Thank you to all of our speakers, participants this morning, and importantly, thank you to all the educators, too, who we had the time with earlier today. So appreciate it. We'll take questions over there. Okay, terrific. All right, good morning. Thank you. Safe on the roads.